On this week's Waypoint, Lucian doesn't really get nerfed, Riot are amazingly good at pretty cinematics, and controversy in the LCS playoff scheduling. What's up guys, and welcome to Waypoint, your weekly League of Legends recap for July 23rd, 2014. I'm your host, Lindsay Geektron. The World Championships are getting closer. Each patch between now and then is defining the meta that will decide the best team in the world. Update 4.12 introduced the controversial jungle timers as well as some significant champion changes. Along with her fellow assassins, Ahri was a major player in Season 3, but nerfs to the burst across the board have held her back this year. Riot want to see more of everyone's favorite Fox girl, so they made her wave clear more efficient as well as giving it a slight damage boost. In theory, this will allow her to push faster and roam around the map making plays, which is what Ahri is great at. Alistar was a top-tier jungler in Season 2, a powerful if niche support in Season 3, and even more niche in Season 4. Riot would like to see the cow come back in the support role, but are afraid of his ridiculously powerful ganks and tower dives from the jungle. To that end, Trample no longer deals double damage to monsters, but the mana costs of his QE combo have been reduced. On top of that, his ultimate now gives him a massive 70% damage reduction at all ranks. That far and away makes him the best champion in the game to turret dive at level 6, which is exactly what his kit is designed for. Shockingly, Kassadin has gotten nerfed. Again! Despite everything the poor guy's been through, he still has an 80% ban rate in the NA LCS, which is frankly just insane. In Riot's latest attempt to bring the Voidwalker in line, the cooldown of his Netherblade has been increased by 3 seconds. The slow duration of his Force Pulse has been reduced by 66%, which is obviously a massive nerf. To make up for that, the slow amount has been greatly buffed all the way to a 90% slow at max rank. So a balanced aim. Just a pro tip, if you want to nerf a champion, don't compensate by buffing it at the same time. Just a pro tip for you guys. It's free. Lucian, after some initial confusion as to what he was actually good at, quickly rose to prominence as the most all-round safe AD carry in the game. In an effort to emphasize his strengths and give him some real weaknesses, he's seen a lot of changes in this patch. His attack range has been significantly nerfed, while his move speed, base health, and base attack damage have all been buffed. Straight away, anytime a champion's range gets hit, it raises alarm bells, but let's keep going. Lucian's Q deals more damage to minions, costs less mana, and also has a shorter range. While his dash is free to cast, has a shorter cooldown, resets his auto attack, and lowers in cooldown every time a passive hit is in. So the results of Riot's continued efforts to make him less of a powerful blind pick? A 4% increased win rate, according to LolKing. Yep, as Ryder Daniel posted in the Reddit thread that pointed this out, sounds about right. On the plus side, he's been disabled for LCS this week, so that's something, I guess. Enjoy solo queue though. Moving on to the item changes, Bloodthirster has not been seeing much play since it got changed, although it wasn't completely useless. To help make it a bit more popular, its lifesteal had been buffed and its overhealing shield had been nerfed in power, but buffed in duration. Lucian gets nerfed and his former favorite item gets buffed in the same patch? Coincidence? I think not. I like the changes though, anything for more build path diversity. That's what I always say. The Essence Reaver change though is a bit confusing. No one was really buying it, right? Pretty sure most people considered it garbage. Really? So what does Riot do? Buff its attack damage by 20. Great! It actually might make it a viable item, except that they also increase the gold cost to 750. I don't even. It's that time again. Riot have put together another incredible cinematic. So I love that Riot kinda seems to do these things arbitrarily. Most companies either make cinematics for new content or an expansion. Maybe this could kind of be used for the new map, but if that's the case, it's a little early. Unless the map is actually gonna hit live servers before this episode goes live. If that's the case, then really inconsiderate, Riot. Anyway, let's take a look. And that is the reason why Leona is the best champion in the game. Shots fired. It was way more adult themed than I ever would have expected from a League of Legends cinematic. I mean, there was blood. There was like squirting blood. There was a really messed up champion. Did I mention the blood? Oh, that's so gross. You have to wonder though if this is a start of a new marketing direction for Riot. You know, trying to capture an older audience now that they're dropping the bright and shiny Summoner's Rift in favor of a darker and cooler map. Either way, it's just a small part of the 6-minute cinematic, and if you haven't seen it by now, I don't know what you're doing with your life. We have the details on the NA and EU LCS playoffs, and there's definitely some controversy surrounding the dates. The EU finals will take place on August 13th through the 17th at Gamescom, Europe's biggest gaming convention, while the NA finals will take place on August 29th through September 1st at PAX Prime in Seattle. We don't have an official start date for the World Championship group stage yet, but we do know the final will take place on October 19th. Because of the number of games and the amount of travel time between countries during the tournament, we can assume it'll start in like mid-September. So what does an NA team have to do to make it across to the other side of the world in time? Well, first they have to place top 3 in Seattle. Every team going will probably have to pack luggage for an extended stay in Asia. The winning teams will have to buy tickets the moment they qualify and get on a plane September 2nd at the latest. They'll need at least 2 to 3 days to recover from some major jet lag while simultaneously arranging accommodations, PC, internet, all that good stuff. So September 5th, absolute best case scenario, the teams can start scrimming, leaving the teams with about a week of practice time before they have to travel again and start playing in the group stages. Not only do the EU teams head into the playoffs immediately after the conclusion of their season, they'll get a much less stressful 2 more weeks to acclimatize and scrim in Korea. Meanwhile, NA has this awkward 3-week break in between the end of their season and the playoffs at PAX Prime. So why is it set up like this? Presumably because Gamescom and PAX Prime are going to be awesome events and Riot wants a big, exciting spectacle for the playoffs of both regions. And that makes sense. Plus, having both playoffs at the same time is bad for viewers both in terms of numbers and convenience. Although I can absolutely understand that reasoning, I don't think it's fair for the teams and the players. Surely they have to be the most important factor when it comes to this stuff. I'm not saying it's real sports are perfect or anything, but if Riot wants to emulate them, competitive integrity has to be the most important aspect of esports as a whole. I mean, that's my opinion, but what do you guys think of this whole thing? Let us know in the comments down below. So we all know League of Legends is an awesome game set in an amazing fantasy world. But what if you were in the mood for something a bit more sci-fi with like lasers and spaceships and hoverboards? Boy, do I have something for you. WildStar is a AAA sci-fi MMORPG with a ludicrous amount of content and a ton of features. It's got everything from an in-depth housing system to massive PvP warpots to incredible raids and dungeons. Best of all, at its core, WildStar is a fast-paced, exciting game with action combat revolving around positioning, dodging, and quick thinking. The telegraph system makes sure you know exactly where you're shooting and what's shooting at you, and if you think that makes the game sound easy, just try it. It couldn't be more wrong. And seriously, did I mention the hoverboards? They're kind of the greatest. If you haven't tried WildStar yet, go on over to gboffer.com/wildstar and pick up your copy now with 30 days of free playtime. Following that link and checking out the game is also just a great way to support us to help us to continue to make shows like Waypoint. That URL again is gboffer.com/wildstar. And that does it for this week's episode of Waypoint. Be sure to check back every week for the latest League of Legends news. For more video game news and content, head on over to gamebreaker.tv. If you enjoy this video, please like and comment below to help us reach more people. And if you want more League of Legends content recaps and updates, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, LolNation TV. I'm Lindsay Geektron. You can follow me on Twitter at Lindsay Geektron. Thanks everyone so much for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next Waypoint.
Gamebreaker TV.